Family reports strange ongoing activity near Greenville, submitted by witness on Thursday, June 9, 2016. Season spring. State, New Hampshire. County, Hillsborough County. Nearest town, Mason or Greenville, New Hampshire. Location, near Russell Abbott State Forest. The branches that had held fruit were broken. Some of these branches were as high as 10 feet, meaning whatever took them had to be tall. Initially, I suspected a moose, though I wasn't aware of them eating pears. 2. One evening, about a year and a half ago, I walked home from my workshop in my barn. The night was pitch black, and as I passed a cluster of hemlock trees, an overpowering wet dog odor hit me. It had rained earlier that day, but the smell was so strong that I stopped in my tracks. I peered into the trees, but saw nothing. Though bears frequent the area, they usually move away from people, yet whatever this was remained completely still. I had an eerie sense of being watched. 3. A year ago, my wife and I were startled awake at 1 a.m. by the sound of a woman screaming in the woods. The scream was unnervingly loud, far louder than any human could manage. After it stopped, a pack of coyotes began yipping. Then the scream rang out again, followed by more coyote calls. This repeated several times before the woods fell silent. Years ago, we heard a similar scream in the daytime, but when we searched the area, we found nothing. 4. A few weeks ago, around 10 p.m., my wife, son, and I were in the living room when a rock struck the side of the house closest to the woods. It sounded like it was about the size of a large marble. When we opened the door, everything was silent. 5. My daughter visited recently and stayed for a week. She complained that she had trouble sleeping due to strange screams in the woods between midnight and 1 a.m. She said the screams sounded nothing like anything she had ever heard before and continued for 4 nights. On the 5th night, we stayed up to listen, but nothing happened. 6. Last fall, we looked after my daughter's small black lab. She usually loved exploring the field near the woods, but would sometimes refuse to go outside. She would sniff the air and back away from the door as if something was out there. 7. A few days ago, during the first 90-degree day of the year, I was driving along Route 31 near the Sasquatch River when I saw a large, two-legged animal standing in the water. At first, I thought it was a bear, but its fur was a light cinnamon color and much longer than a bear's. It was massive, with fur so thick that I couldn't make out where its legs connected to its body. I should have stopped to look closer, but was in a rush. 8. Back in March, while walking a trail in the forest, I heard 3 distinct knocks on a tree. I knew from online reports that this is something Bigfoot is said to do. 100 feet further, I heard the knocks again. Not wanting to press my luck, I turned back. All of these experiences have left me wondering, what exactly is happening around here? Are there similar reports from southern New Hampshire? Environment: thick forests, swamps, lakes, and marshes. Family's possible nighttime encounter near Hancock, submitted by witness on Saturday, May 28, 2016, year 2016, season spring, month May, date 27th, state New Hampshire, county Hillsborough County, nearest town Hancock. At around 3 a.m. on May 27th, my wife and I were woken by a loud, distressing scream from outside our open bedroom windows. At first, I thought our dog was outside, but after the sound repeated, I woke my wife. She listened and confirmed she also heard it. I went to check on our dog, who was still inside, asleep in his kennel. As I reached the sliding door in our kitchen, my wife suddenly heard a series of hollow knocks coming from just outside our bedroom windows, something I missed while walking between rooms. When I turned on the back porch light and stepped outside, I heard a loud commotion in the tree line, about 150 feet away. My first assumption was a pack of coyotes, but then the situation escalated. Several trees began shaking violently from different spots in the woods. The hair on my neck stood up. Feeling vulnerable, I grabbed my shotgun and stepped onto our raised back deck, which sits about 6 to 8 feet off the ground. The noises persisted. Branches snapped, trees shook, and something large moved around with unsettling power. It was clear that whatever was out there had no fear of me. My wife joined me in the kitchen to listen through the open slider. Suddenly, as I turned off the porch light, we heard something rushing toward us. My wife panicked and slammed the door shut. I quickly opened it again, shotgun in hand, only to hear 3 deep, aggressive grunts right beside the deck. The sound was guttural and close, too close. Terrified, I shut the door. My wife ran to our baby's room while we both listened to whatever it was retreating into the woods. We could hear multiple heavy footsteps moving away. The next morning, we found pushed-over bushes near the deck and fresh, broken branches at the tree line. My wife later reminded me that our son, who sleeps in the basement, had mentioned seeing red eyes in the woods at night. At the time, I dismissed it, but now I'm not so sure. We have a compost pile in our backyard, which might have drawn whatever was out there. The experience left us shaken, and none of us slept for the rest of the night. Follow-up investigation. The witness, a lifelong outdoorsman, was clearly frightened by the experience. Though he didn't see anything, he described the tree shaking and noises as more intense than anything he had encountered before. He continues to monitor the area and will report any further activity. Environment: dense woods and lawn, near Carpenter's Marsh and Eva's Marsh Wildlife Management Area. A family sees Sasquatch at their window near Guilford. Submitted by witness on Wednesday, June 10, 2009, year 2008, season summer, date June 10, 2009, state New Hampshire, county Belknap County, nearest town Guilford, New Hampshire. Nearest road, Route 11A. I moved to this home in 2001 and have had multiple sightings over the years, always from my living room window while watching television. It sounds unbelievable, but it's true. My couch faces a large picture window that looks out onto a small creek and an empty wooded lot. I've seen all kinds of wildlife: deer, bears, moose, turkeys, raccoons, and foxes. But what I saw that night was something entirely different. On dark summer nights, usually late in the evening, a massive creature, around 9 feet tall, has walked past my window. It has long, deep brown hair and moves upright like a human. Sometimes I see it move in one direction, then pass by again minutes later. Other times, it simply disappears into the night. One evening, I casually mentioned to my family that I had seen Bigfoot again. My eldest son's face went pale. He confessed that the night before, he had seen the creature too. Only this time, it looked directly at him through the window. He described the same tall, broad-shouldered figure covered in dark fur, except he saw its face. He said the skin on its face was lighter than the rest of its body, though still covered in hair. We've heard eerie grunting noises, snapping branches, and heavy footsteps in the woods near our home. Though the creature has never acted aggressively, I refuse to step outside after seeing it. Instead, I turn on every outdoor light and try to forget it ever happened, until the next time. In the winter, we've found large, unidentifiable footprints circling the house. The snow often fills them in before we can examine them properly, but the size alone is unsettling. I know what I've seen, even if most people wouldn't believe me. Also noticed, strange noises, shadows moving through the trees, broken branches near the house. Other witnesses. My son saw it on a separate night. Another family member was sitting with me once, but just missed it. Time and conditions: between 10 and 11 p.m., dark and clear night. Environment: near the base of Gunstock Mountain, about a mile from Lake Winnipesaukee. A creek and river run about 1,000 yards from the house, surrounded by wetlands and dense woods. The White Mountain National Forest is nearby. Dawn sighting at Stevens Brook near Claremont, submitted by witness on Tuesday, June 7th, 2016, year 2016. Season, summer. Nearest road, Route 120. At 5 a.m., I was traveling along Route 120 toward Claremont when I heard what I first thought was a flock of birds rustling in the reeds. As I slowed down, I saw a massive figure crouched low, peering through the tall grass at me. As I watched, the figure rose from a squat into a full standing position, turned away, and bolted toward the tree line. It ran at an incredible speed, using its long arms to push through the brush. Its head was coconut-shaped, and its fur was light brown. Its shoulders were incredibly broad. Later that day, I returned with a friend to investigate. We waded into the marsh, which came up to our knees, and were hit by an overpowering stench, something like rotting garbage. We found a single large footprint and what appeared to be a bedding area made of broken branches. When my friend performed a loud call, we received several distant wood knocks in response. A month later, while cycling on Route 120, I heard strange screeching noises coming from the woods in the same area. Other witnesses, none at the time, but a friend later accompanied me to investigate. Time and conditions: 5 a.m., dawn, clear weather. Environment: marshland transitioning into dense forest. A fallen tree near the sighting area resembled a sleeping spot. Follow-up investigation. Investigators confirmed the area contained bear and deer activity, but the witness was adamant that what he saw was not a known animal. A hair sample collected from a nearby fence turned out to be bear fur. The screeching sounds, recorded a month later, were likely from a fawn calling for its mother. Girl Scout camping trip disrupted in the Pine Barrens. Submitted by witness Susan G. on Sunday, June 29, 2014. Year: 1952 or 1953. Season: summer. Month: June. State: New Jersey. County: Burlington County. Nearest town: Chatsworth. Nearest road: Route 70. As an 8 to 10-year-old Girl Scout, I attended a camping trip in what is now Brendan T. Byrne State Forest, then called Lebanon State Forest. The campsite was remote, requiring a long hike after driving down a narrow, sandy road. On our first night, our counselors prepared a huge pot of spaghetti and meatballs. Before we could eat, the pot mysteriously vanished. No one saw it taken. As night fell, we sat by the fire. That's when the noises started. Heavy footsteps, loud rustling in the brush, and tree knocking. Then came the whistles, long, eerie, and not like any bird we had ever heard. These sounds circled our camp as if something, or multiple things, were communicating. The counselors, now frightened, called out to a Boy Scout troop camping across the lake. Their group hurried over, and together we listened as the noises continued. Everyone, kids and adults, was terrified. We stayed huddled near the fire all night. At dawn, the Boy Scout leaders ran back to their cars and contacted the police. As we left, the state police were arriving. Though nothing was ever found and the spaghetti pot was never recovered, we later heard stories of local farmers losing livestock, animals killed, dragged off, or left half-eaten. At the time, people blamed the Jersey Devil. But looking back, with what I know now, I believe it was something else, something much bigger. Other witnesses: 20 Girl Scouts, multiple Boy Scouts, and their leaders. Time and conditions: around 11 p.m., clear night, full moon. Environment: dense scrub pine forest, cedar swamp, and a dark brown lake. Follow-up investigation: the witness later concluded that the incident was more likely caused by Bigfoot than the Jersey Devil. Locals had long reported strange occurrences in the area, including missing livestock and broken fences. Hunters experience intimidation encounter in Southampton Township. Submitted by witness on Monday, January 9, 2006. Year: 2001. Season: winter. Month: December. Date: doe season. State: New Jersey. County: Burlington County. Nearest town: Southampton Township. Nearest road: Route 70 and 206. During December's deer season in 2001, my 3 brothers and I were hunting deep in Bear Swamp, following a logging road off the power lines. We had planned to regroup once the woods became too dark to navigate. As we gathered near the road, an ear-splitting scream shattered the silence. Suddenly, something massive came charging toward us from the swamp, stopping just short of entering our flashlight beams. The ground trembled with each step. It was big. It continued its aggressive behavior, rushing at us in bluff charges, snapping branches, and growling with a deep, guttural intensity. The sheer volume of its roar cut straight through us, making it impossible to ignore. We saw in the distance a Bigfoot creature, so we raised our rifles, ready to fire if necessary, but the creature finally ran off through the trees. It mostly stayed just beyond our line of vision, yet its presence was undeniable. After what felt like an eternity, the creature slowly retreated, crashing through the brush as it left. Though I have hunted these woods for years, I have never experienced anything like this before or since. Other witnesses: myself and my 3 brothers. Time and conditions: after dark. Environment: the logging road sits on high ground, but a swamp is directly beside it. Late night sighting in Crosswicks, submitted by witness on Monday, April 4th, 2005. Year 2003. Season fall. State New Jersey. County Burlington County. Nearest town Bordentown, New Jersey. Nearest road Hogback Road. One fall night in 2003, my husband and I were driving home from Yardville, New Jersey, heading down Hogback Road toward Ward Avenue. As we rounded a bend, something ran across the road ahead of us. It moved upright but hunched over, using its long arms to propel itself forward. The creature was covered in thick, shaggy, dark brown fur and had an incredibly broad build. It was roughly 5 feet tall, though crouched, making it difficult to determine its full height. By the time we reached the spot where it had crossed, it had disappeared into thick brush. We did, however, see a dog standing nearby, barking in the direction the creature had come from. Both my husband and I saw it clearly, and neither of us could think of any logical explanation for what it could have been. It was too big and fast to be a raccoon or dog, and the way it moved was nothing like a bear. Other witnesses: myself and my husband. Time and conditions: between 11:30 p.m. and 1 a.m., clear night with good visibility from the moon and car headlights. Environment: a rural road with scattered houses, dense woods, and thick underbrush. Late afternoon sighting in the Pine Barrens. Submitted by witness on Monday, January 9th, 2006, year 2005, season winter, month December, date 27th, state New Jersey, county Burlington County. Nearest town Woodmansey, Chatsworth. Nearest road Route 72. My girlfriend and I were driving on a dirt trail off Route 72 when she suddenly froze, looking like she had seen a ghost. She said she had just seen something tall and light brown cross the road. Thinking it was probably a deer, I got out to take a closer look. That's when I saw movement in the bushes. As I turned my head, a face emerged from behind a dense pile of brush, staring directly at me. The creature's face was dark, but framed by long, light brown fur. Its eyes locked onto mine for a few seconds before it suddenly turned and ran. I caught only a glimpse of its body before it disappeared into the trees. My girlfriend was visibly shaken. She later told me this looked exactly like something she had seen months earlier while we were camping near Apple Pie Hill. Later that night, after leaving the area, we could hear something running toward our car from the woods. It wasn't galloping like a four-legged animal. It sounded distinctly like something running on 2 feet. Not wanting to push our luck, we left immediately. Other witnesses: my girlfriend saw it first. Time and conditions: around 4 p.m., clear and bright. Environment: Pine Barrens, dense forest, and brush. Researchers have early morning road crossing near Medford. Submitted by witness Eric Spinner on Tuesday, October 20th, 2015, year 2010, season winter, month March, date 18th, state New Jersey, county Burlington County. Nearest town, Medford. Nearest road, Route 206. A friend and I had spent hours in one of our Pine Barrens research areas, hoping to make contact with a Sasquatch. After an uneventful night, we packed up and began the drive home. At 1:10 a.m., we had just re-entered a developed area when something shot out from the right side of the road. I slammed on my brakes, narrowly avoiding hitting it. My friend, who was holding a water bottle, was thrown forward, splashing water all over herself. "What was that?" she shouted. "Deer," I blurted out in shock. But as soon as I said it, I realized that wasn't true. What I had seen had no tail, no muzzle, and no pointed ears. It was muscular, ran hunched forward, and pumped its arms for speed. Just before it disappeared, it turned its head to look at us, its face showing an expression of surprise, as if it had misjudged the timing of our approach. Shaken, I pulled over and returned to the spot, but there was no trace of it. Whatever it was, it had disappeared into the woods. Other witnesses, myself and a friend. Time and conditions: 1:10 a.m., dark, cold, damp environment, near power lines, wooded areas, lakes, and streams. Man sees tall, dark silhouette in Rockaway Township swamp. Submitted by witness on Monday, April 7th, 2003. Year 2003, season spring, month April. Date 7th, state New Jersey. County, Morris County. Nearest town, Rockaway Township. Nearest road, Interstate Route 80. Driving past Burnt Meadow Brook, I made a conscious effort to scan the wooded area beyond the road. About 200 to 250 yards away, I spotted what appeared to be a dark, human-like figure standing still, seemingly looking down at the water. The figure was tall, broad, and completely motionless. It was dark brown to black in color, but the distance made it difficult to discern fine details. I only observed it for about 5 seconds before I had to continue driving. Curious, I checked the same spot on my commute for several days afterward, but whatever I saw was no longer there. I considered the possibility that it was a tree trunk, but nothing in that area matched the shape I had seen. Could it have been a person? Possibly, but the location was difficult to access and far from any trails. Other witnesses, none. Time and conditions: clear day, morning rush hour, temperatures in the upper 30s. Environment: marshland transitioning into forest. A small creek runs through the area, connecting to undeveloped wooded regions, leading northward toward Pennsylvania and New York. If you've had a strange encounter of your own, drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear your story. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because the next mystery might be closer than you think.